what? Did life suddenly become easier for you? Is everything you observe in this world now clear? In a way it is, but with that clarity, you now have much angst about the world you are now living in. This is because you see everything and everyone for who and what they are, and not through a lens of illusion that everyone else is looking through. You see what people do and why they do it. You see through what's being said. You have turned off the relentless broadcasting of all types from bombarding you. But you cannot turn off a spiritual awakening. What has happened in your life just added new dimensions that you must learn to balance in this world. You are living in two worlds. You are now having more and more memories of things you forgot when you first came here. The amnesia that you were assigned when you were first born isn't gone, but it's wearing off little by little. The memories you have from your last spiritual life before you got here are seeping through, and you are starting to remember. Remember you. Once you remember, you must learn to balance living in two worlds at the same time. The world you were born into and the world you left to get here. The first thing you will notice changing is your relationships. Things you did and said to tolerate being in relationships with disconnected people will change. You may find yourself choosing to be alone. You will gravitate toward new friends who have also undergone a spiritual awakening. Once you remember your spirit family, the family you came from, the one where unconditional love and understanding is the norm, you may have trouble trusting or loving the people in this world. It's because most people only operate in a conditional, single world existence. They came here, they were assigned their amnesia, they lost their bliss and creativity by succumbing to parental and societal pressures that told them what to do, how to think, along with a lot of judgment about what they should do and should not do. These beliefs are mindlessly passed down from parent to child, to grandchild, to great-grandchildren, until someone in the lineage breaks the pattern by having a spiritual awakening and sticks out like a sore thumb. They may even be labeled the designated black sheep of the family, the odd one, the one who has all those crazy ideas and even sees or speaks to their spiritual family. The moment of truth resides in the common denominator that will impact all earth-based families and happens the moment they cross over. By default, when they are released from this world and returned to their spirit family, they instantly realize what they missed while they were here. Summary: you have two families that you are part of, your earthly family and your eternal family. Your spirit family is the one you left behind when you chose to incarnate into this world. Once you got here, all excited and convinced you could do anything, you soon found out otherwise. Once you have how it works. Once you have a spiritual awakening, you begin to feel like a victim of events rather than a willing participant. You are out of sync with everything that is the norm in this world. The inner urge that drives you to be a creator rather than a spectator will flip your present life over. Everything you used to feel in sync with in this world now makes you feel like a victim of it because you awakened and can no longer live in this world the way you used to. This is the consequence of awakening and seeing things for what they are. One of the most disappointing consequences of awakening will show up in relationships. You will see that they are far too superficial and conditional to be part of. In this world, many times love is used as a weapon to get something. These are just some of the reasons you would rather be alone, because compared to the relationship you have with your spirit family, people in this world have a lot to learn about what a real relationship is.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
So how does that feel, you guys?
Let me turn everybody on here.
I'm pretty sure that you guys can relate to this all too well.
We got a couple new people. I see Barbara's there. Barbara, I'm unmuting you, but we can't see you.
Where did Barbara
All we
go?
can see is like your ceiling, I think.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, you're still there? You're just hiding?
She's just resting, Ray.
Okay.
Give her a chance. Okay.
And
She's getting to know who we all are.
yeah, Estrella.
Estrella.
Yeah, we
Great.
can you hear us, Estrella?
Yes.
Hi. Estrella's new. We can't see you. Do you have your camera turned on?
I can listen.
Oh,
She can
okay.
listen.
All right.
We're happy to have you, Estrella.
We are.
Sometimes happen because I can listen.
Great, and we have a great group of people here. These guys you're going to love these guys. So,
And
okay.
we have a prize winner here, Joy. Wasn't she?
Joy, that's right. What did Joy do? Did you guys see the books that she put up on the group? And she bought the 2 books. She got
them over the weekend.
and she put them up like this. Oh, so
So she could be the first one that got both of them.
you got it too, didn't you,
Kathy or Veronica?
Veronica?
No, not yet. I'm just saying yay, but I'm going to get it.
Yeah, very good.
Wait either.
There's nothing like having it already pre-bound and completed, And it was through all the fans and the people, the early adopters of My Guided Journey that actually brought this to fruition, But it took about a year, and you guys know the story. It's pretty good.
We kept reworking it to make it smoother and easier to use. And it kept getting bigger and bigger. And
it's got to work. That's the whole point.
Right.
It's got to work, and this does. So you guys are good. All right. Now, what questions do we have around the topic today?
what happens once you have a spiritual awakening?
Yeah. Your life after a spiritual awakening. You guys go ahead.
Don't all speak at once.
Well, I'll speak. I don't have a question right at the moment, but I just wanted to say that I identify with what you shared. I can relate to it for sure.
Yeah, I know you can.
Yeah.
Do you want your guides to speak with you about that?
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to do that right now because nobody knows you better than your spirit family, your guides, all right? And they know right where each one of you are on your journey as they're working to guide you. You know, their objective is to move you through true north, because true north gets you there faster, you know. But sometimes we get distracted and we have to look into other things along the way, you know. So anyway, Veronica, your spirit guides and angels are here with us now. Breathe and breathe. Okay, always breathe. That it's not that they're not connected to you, it's that we get uptight and we disconnect from them, and we've got to breathe to bring that back, all right? And loosen up that upper body, those shoulders, that neck, those arms. When you pull your arms back and you stretch them, like you can feel right through here, you feel the stretch, and it's just like, you can finally breathe, okay? I'm going to catch that breath. There. Oh, and it's the breath. That's the breath where you're trying to capture the breath that feels like a yawn, okay? And when you get it, it's like, oh, there's nothing static breaking up that connection, and it's right there. Your spirit guides and angels are here with us now, Veronica, and they're going to tell you about this journey that you're on together with them, all right? Your spiritual journey.
We have been together for a long time. However, you have gone through the part where people who are disconnected really don't understand you. We want you to know that this is normal. And those disconnected people most likely will never come around. It's up to you to attract new people, new friends who are more like you. We want you to think about two things. One, throughout this process, it's okay to be alone. And two, do not be sad.
Veronica, only you would understand what they're talking to you about, okay? And can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I have this on because it's a little bit better for amplification, so just want to make sure it's working. So Veronica, do you want to talk about that or say anything about that, or?
It strikes true. I mean, I totally hear what they're saying, and yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And the don't be sad part, I don't know about that. I that's good too. That's like hopeful. That's like a guidance thing, because I do feel sad from time to time. So
Sad from the people that you left behind?
yeah.
It's a normal thing. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, now that you're connected and you're awakened and, you know, you're moving in that direction, you can't help it. Once you wake up, you can't help it. It's not even something that if you could force yourself to do, it would never hold up. So it's kind of like in Guided, when I talked about the merry-go-round dream that would never stop,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was hijacked. You know, I mean, here I was, a new person in this world, and I felt completely like I had no choice, and I didn't. Okay, I tried to go around it, I tried to stop it, I tried to all these things, and I couldn't do it. And finally, I just said, you know, let's do this. This is, I can't beat this thing, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm in whether I want to be in or not.
Yeah. I'm in too.
I know. We're all in, and that's why we connect with each other on Tuesdays and talk about this and have a like-minded connection here on the planet. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, isn't that great, you guys?
Yes.
Huh?
It is.
Yeah. It's so important.
It's hard to find people to talk about this stuff with, you know.
Yeah,
It is.
It is. It's very difficult. Or somebody who tries to dominate it or tries to be the boss. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff that gets in there that kind of mucks it up. So there's just no time for it, really, you know. And like they said in this session, the true the bottom line is, and I can actually see this, feel this. I know this is true because I remember where I came from when I first came here, right? That when you leave this world, when you're released from this life, and you find yourself on the other side, you instantly know if you got done what you came here to do. You instantly know it, you know it, all right? There's no more pretending and saying things like, well, you know, I did my best. No, because it's not the ego, it's not the persona who's present. It's the soul that's there. Okay, and the soul, it's real. It's so real right down to the soul, okay? And it doesn't lie to you, and it doesn't let you get away with anything because that's just unfinished business as far as the soul is concerned. And we know if we missed it, the minute we cross over. We know it the instant we do. So we do our own life review. There's not somebody looking over us, telling us, you chastising us, telling us these things. No, it's an internal thing. It's an instant knowing. It's a relationship between you and your oneness, this eternal self that you are, that you're finally back there. And it's real, So we come here, anything that you can't, here's my motto. Anything that you can't take with you when you leave is an illusion. So if we spend our time trying to get a bigger house and more vacations and buy more clothes and all this stuff that you can't take with you, that we go into debt for, that, we want to look good, we want to impress somebody, but all this superficial stuff, the minute we cross over and we're out of this dimension and moved on, the instant we do, the truth is there. It's like, it's called regrets. I don't want to go there. I don't want to think like that, So when I see people all pulled into consumption and just that's all they do, and that's all they can think about, and they will do anything to anyone around them to have more. It's ridiculous.
To get ahead. To get ahead. How are we ever going to get ahead?
Get ahead of who?
I don't know.
You see how disconnected that is?
Who are you trying to get ahead of?
So anytime we feel that disconnection where we severed it, we're in this by ourselves and we're going to get ahead. We're going to get ours, right? And it's not something you can take with you, then it's an illusion. And we came here to experience this illusion, right? I mean, that is the argument here. So we came here to experience this. Okay, so when are you going to wake up and really live your life? Is it possible? Is it possible to really live your life while you're in this world? Or is it just where you just indulge in the illusion? Because, I mean, isn't that why we came here? See how somebody could play with that? And, okay, it's a personal call. I think that comes down to, are you a young soul or an old soul? Okay, so people who are young souls, they're thriving on the illusion. Well, of course they would be, because that's what they're here. Their young soul is drawn to that, and they can't. This other stuff that we're talking about is boring to them. Okay, so that's a young soul. So when you see a young soul living in this world, you can only spend so much time with that, and then you move on because you're missing, and they're not ready. So a lot of it all has to do with if someone's ready or not. Yes. And then when you're ready, you can't escape it. It's what you came here to experience and see through and live out. All right. Mm-hmm. What else do we have, you guys?
I'll ask my question if you don't mind.
Yes,
sure.
Please.
That's Barbara, right?
Barbara.
Yeah, I just don't want my picture up right now.
That's okay, Barbara.
Okay, I wrote you to ask you if it was appropriate to ask the question, I lost my beloved spouse and I'm having a hard time moving on. So how do you find a new life after
How long has it been?
your beloved spouse passes?
How long has it been since?
Just about a year.
About a year, okay.
Yeah.
All right, and yeah. Okay, so you processed enough by now, Barbara, where if you could have figured it out, you would have done that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I lost my dad also 6 months ago too. So.
Okay. So yeah, that's tough. And it doesn't usually work out like that, where it's just, it all seems to show up at one little fell swoop in our lives, these things. So Barbara, breathe. If you want to make this connection, you breathe, okay? You get out of the way. You let it come through you, not from you, all right? Breathe with us right here. Okay, Barbara. Oh. And there's a great big yawn for you, Barbara, ready to bring your guides in. Your spirit guides and angels are here with us now. and they're going to talk to you about this. Now, if one of these, if your spouse or your father wants to come through, that may happen. We don't ever know.
Was the second one your father?
Father
Well,
was the second one,
okay.
and spouse was the first one. And if they come through, we don't know who's going to come through. But whatever's meant to happen right here, it will happen. So, and it might be your guides that are coming through to speak for them. We never know. So here they go.
We speak for the infinite souls who have fulfilled their contract and crossed over. It's natural to miss them as well as think about them all the time. They are also thinking about you. However, they have reached a point where they see everything clearly. They feel and look their best, the best they ever were in their incarnate life. So that's how you must picture them when you think about them. They are certainly much happier where they are than where you are. They are enveloped in infinite, unconditional love and expansive environment, while you are still stuck inside boundaries and restrictions, unable to see outside of your predicament. They want you to know how much they appreciated coming into their incarnate lives. But now that they have graduated, and that is the way to look at it, they are more around you than they ever were. It's time for you to realize just how great they feel and how much they see everything clearly now, and do it from a position of love. They have gained so much by knowing you, but that is something you will understand once you join them.
Okay. How does she move on in this life where she is right now? How does she move on from here in her wholeness? How does this make sense for her moving forward?
You must occupy your mind with new things to do. get a hobby or something you can do on your own or with others who are just like you. This way, you will take the sad edge off of how you're feeling now, knowing that your spouse and father are not only watching you, but encouraging you to branch out.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions around that, Barbara?
No, I don't. Yeah.
It's disappointing still for you that you've been left behind.
Of
right?
Of course. Very disappointing.
So what's your plan? I want to know about your plan going forward.
Oh, I'm trying to find hobbies.
Good.
Yeah, and doing a lot of praying, looking within. A lot of solitude. It's a time for being alone and looking within and finding God within.
And that's going to move. That's not a stagnant place. That's a place where you dive into it because it feels right and you go there.
Yes.
And as you're in it, as you experience what's going on in that, you are not stagnant. You are moving through it. You don't know you're moving through it. You're too devastated to realize that. Okay. But that is what's going on. You are moving through it. What you're doing is you're willingly stepping into where you're guided to go. This is where you're guided to go within, to visit that place, to experience what that's going to present to you. And from that is where you're going to find your true north, where you're going to find the fit, the absolute perfect fit for you. Okay.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. So there's always the part where you shift gears, you move into that, you go, I'm just moving into it. I don't know what's going to come from it. I don't know what to expect. I know there's going to be, there's going to be sad days, good days. There's going to be all kinds of stuff that goes on with me. But here's what the guide said. You're going to do this. You're going to expand. That's what's going to, right now you're like this. You're kind of holding on.
Right.
What's really going to happen as you do that, as you enter into that, as you willingly walk into it, that's not an easy thing to do, what you're talking about. To willingly walk into that, you're just open. You're open, okay? And let that take you, because that's a great place to go. That's a trust, you can trust where that is, all right?
Yes.
Have you read Guided?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So the journals are really awesome. I don't know if you know about the little journals we talked about tonight. We just published them in the last week. My Guided Journey and My Journal Writing, which is the companion journal to Guided. And it was as a result of all the people who read Guided that thousands of people. How do I do this? I want to learn how to have this connection to my guides. I know something's missing. I want to do this. And that's how this journal came about. It's about going back to reclaim yourself, all right? And you have the time to do that now. You've got no distractions, Barbara.
I agree with you. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah. So we welcome her to this group every Tuesday, right, you guys, to help her with this.
Yes.
And I mean, everybody has. Veronica, what input do you have for Barbara? I could see it in you.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just
there's something there for her. Yeah. Veronica is also a coach. She also coaches people spiritually. She's come a long way, in loss. Let's say relationship losses. And that's just like, that can feel like somebody who crossed over where, you know, it doesn't seem like we're gonna get it together in this lifetime, right, Veronica?
Yeah, I guess just that I was just feeling like you're in the right place, Barbara. I mean, you have come here, and these things that Linda and Ray are teaching us are so fulfilling and stuff. So it's awesome. Maybe it's like perfect timing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that reminds me of about what a meme you did a couple of months ago that you got a lot of response on, and it was about alone. And alone, people get the two things confused, lonely and alone. Alone is, you said, was a choice. It's very, alone, it can be very powerful.
Right.
You can get a lot done when you're alone and nobody's bothering you.
Distracting you.
Distracting you, right. But lonely's something else. Lonely's a feeling.
Okay, so lonely, here's what let me take that from there. Lonely is the impact of loss. Okay, the impact of it. The minute you lose these guys, that you just feel, God, I feel lost without that. I feel a void. I feel, you know, something's missing every day. I'm used to, my routine's been seriously interrupted. You know, you feel lonely. You want that back, or you want some of it back. But being alone is something that you harness. It's something that you master. It's something that lets you do this and expand who it is you are. And when you do that, Barbara, what happens when you expand and you step into this willingly and you become more from it, what happens is your connection to those who crossed over, to your guides, to where it is we move on to when we're released from this world, that's what you're connecting with. It's really, really, to say that it's fulfilling is an understatement. It's like living in two worlds, like they said in this session today. When I say they said, this is information we channel from the guides. These insights, Linda's weekly guided insights, are channeled information from my guides every week on these topics, okay? That they know that we all need to know right now. You know, we all need help with. And it's just stepping into it willingly. I mean, your best friends, your husband, your dad, they're not here now. They're over there now. So it's a natural urge for you to want to connect with that, okay? But you're going to connect with your guides. You're going to connect with many of those that you left behind. All right? You're in for a big surprise. You're in for a lot of love and a lot of help, like clarity, like you haven't ever had before. All right?
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So you're in good hands. Walk through it. Come and visit us on Tuesdays. Your guides will talk to you about how you're doing. You're not alone in this. You're never alone, Barbara, and you're always being guided. Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Very, very well explained.
Okay, who's next? We have Joy and we have Kathy. Joy, go.
All right. As far as spiritual awakening,
Yep.
I'm not certain that I'm completely awakened. That's why I'm with you, Linda. And I've been on a path, and it seems like I'll go through something and then I'll discard this and I'll take that and keep that. I do feel that alone is not bad. Like Barbara, I lost my husband 13 months ago. But everybody's different and everybody goes through it differently. So everybody's got to find their own way. I personally went down to Mexico City and had a session with the Santeria energy workers, and I have not had 1 minute of grief since that point. But it may not be the best thing for everybody. Maybe working through those feelings are are more important for those persons.
Yeah.
So
That's good input. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Kathy, what do you have to share for with Barbara to help Barbara through this?
Well, I think she has come to a good support group. She's found a good support group by coming here. It is like a new family, kind of.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I think
friends.
we all feel like that, right?
And it's people that you can relate with because we're like-minded, and nobody's going to think you're crazy for talking about the things that we talk about. And
yeah, it's a safe place.
Yes, it is. It's very good to have people that you can sound things off of and get information and talk to your guides. It's a wonderful group.
Yeah, it really is. Literally, group. Them too. All of them. If we could see them, you guys, I always say they're right here. You're talking to them when we bring them through, all right? They're right here. They're not gone somewhere. They're right here, and they're excited to be here. They always tell us, we love this time with them, with the people that come. They love it, you know? They love it because you guys are paying attention, because you guys can be reached, you know? Here's an interesting thought. You're on the other side. Let's say that you crossed over, okay? Or let's say that you're the guides trying to help. You signed up to help this Kathy or this Joy or Barbara or Veronica, or Linda or Ray, you know, they signed up to walk us through this life and give us guidance, but they weren't allowed to butt in. They weren't allowed to take away your free will, okay? So it's kind of like you had free reign to do whatever you pleased. What a world, okay? That is amazing, you guys, if you think about it. We can go out there, we can listen to the guidance, and life will go pretty good. And we'll learn a lot and really evolve and even be successful. I know, I've lived it, all right? But we can also just be reckless with our life and be a little bit on the wild side. That'd be a young soul that just kind of terrorizes this world and just screams through it and maybe cuts their life short at 21 years old because they did some crazy thing, you know. But this is the planet where, this is the dimension where we all came in to experience this free will. It's an amazing thing. So we have the free will to do whatever we please in this life. But each and every one of us in this world, when we do return back to where we came from, it's a recycling process, okay? In one door, out the other. And let's do this again. And let's do this again. And however thousands of millions of times we've done this, right? We've got to a point as a human race where we're kind of sick and tired of the inching along, you know, a little inching along. And there was a time when the average lifespan was what, Ray?
I mean, when we were kids, people retired at 59 and they were dead at 62.
Yeah, pretty much.
Boredom.
Yeah, so they didn't get that. You know, they just lost it, and they're going, oh man. They get on the other side and they go, oh boy, did I really miss that one? You know, I mean, I did a doozy on missing that one, but then, you know, you can always come back and do this again, and you will. But I just would rather, I've got two theories. This is going to be fun. I'm going to play with you guys. One is very self-serving. I do this work, I write these books, and I try to reach people. Because assuming I'm going to have to come back to this planet again, okay, this dimension, I want the odds to be just a little bit better than they were when I first got here. So it's pretty self-serving. I want the word out about how this works, and I want it to be like maybe a curriculum where it really caught on and people are getting it. So when I come back, I don't have to join into this lower level type of existence. It starts up a little bit higher up the ladder. Thank God, and I can breathe. I can actually work in that. I'm not stifled the minute I get here, right? Okay, so there's that part, and I forgot the other part. That part just totally took me over.
That was self-serving.
That's the self-serving part. But, you know, honestly, I don't have the awakening. Okay, I came in awake. I mean, I've been tormented my whole life by this stuff, you guys. I mean, I don't have any choice to keep working and walking through it as they catch me and Linda, we need this way of communicating with humanity so we can reach them on a higher level. Linda, we need this book to be written. You know, you're going to write a book about your relationship with us since you were a little girl, and we appeared so the world could believe. Linda, we need, okay, and I'm just like, okay, let's just do this, all right? I mean, I'm okay with that. I guess I have a lot of work to get done in this lifetime to help you guides out. And maybe I was a guide, and I was so frustrated with the experience of trying to reach humanity that this is why I do this. Who knows, all right? I mean, who knows why any of us feel this urge to help people move through it and realize who they are, and not be a victim anymore, and not take things personally anymore, and not struggle anymore, not resist what's the guidance that's taking us on our own yellow brick road. You know, the only thing that causes the strain and the struggle in this world is when we resist what guidance is trying to move us toward. And we go, oh, no, I'm not ready for that yet. Nah, I can't afford to do that. I have to move all these other things around, these priorities, to fit that in. And I'm just not up for it, all right? Right? Stuff like that. We've all been there in some form, you know? I mean, in Guided, when I did so well in the construction industry in the 70s, and all of a sudden, game over, Linda, the economy's going to change. It's going to crash. Real estate's going to crash. It's time to start liquidating everything you have and don't buy anything into the future, okay? Liquidate everything. Become liquid. I'm like, wait a second. I'm white hot right now. Are you kidding me?
Become fluid, liquid, become
and
fluid.
I heard myself do it. It was like sitting there going, wah, wah, wah. I knew that's what I was doing. And I just said, okay, I either listen to them and I don't struggle, okay, and I struggle. If I don't listen to them, I struggle. I pay the price later. I go down with the ship in 18 months from now. Or I pay attention to them. I let this whole thing go. And I trust the guidance and I move through it. And it worked out so well. It was crazy how well that worked out. Okay, just one example, but we all have those opportunities. And do we choose to go that way? If we don't choose to go true north and we need to veer off and we need to get distracted, it just means that's a part of us that still needs to work it out. There's a reason that person, you know, you could look at them and go, you're just an idiot. What did you do that for? They're not an idiot. They had to take that journey to learn what that was. So they're done with it. And that distraction is now out of the way, and they can really, when the guidance comes through, the likelihood that they're going to listen is greater. All right. So we've all done it, you know?
Maybe people have come here so many times, and each lifetime they reincarnated, they were always others. But the opposite of that is service to self. They never got to experience what a service to self life felt like.
That's exactly
right. And they just went wild and crazy and extravagant on themselves.
Right. It's true. I mean, it's about balancing this stuff out. You know, ultimately, it's about learning to live in two worlds consciously at the same time. Okay, that's what this is really all about. It's about being here, but still being connected, so that you've got this center, this truth, this love. That's the real thing. Okay, and could you imagine having enough people awaken where real love, I'm talking about unconditional love that exists once we move out of this dimension, that could actually exist here on the planet? You know, I'd say the closest thing to that are people's animals.
Right, your pets.
Your pets.
I saw an article this week that said your pets are actually second dimension beings, spirits, who are moving into the third dimension. They're pretty close. Some of them are closer than others. You know, like those dogs that can play the piano. stuff like that.
Ray watches these things.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
God. Can you picture this? Okay.
I mean, or they can talk. Some of them talk.
They absolutely
Some of
do.
them talk.
Yeah,
Some of them communicate like a toddler or better than a toddler.
I know. They understand. So, and most of all, it's not just the basic functions of what a person would do, but these animals are, they know when something's wrong with you. They know when you need to slow down or you need to, they know when you're sick, you know?
Oh, yeah.
They know when you're going to cross over.
You know, my mom found out she had breast cancer because her dog nipped at her, and she went to the doctor because it wouldn't heal.
Yeah. Barbara's cleaning the house.
No, I have to tape something. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah. Go ahead, Kathy.
No, the dog jumped up on her and nipped right where the cancer was.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she went, because it wouldn't heal, she went to have it checked, and they said, oh, well, you have breast cancer.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. So, it's interesting, you guys, how this plays out. And
I have taken some notes.
what do you have, Ray? Let's go.
As usual.
He does his
Well, yeah,
research.
as everybody's been.
Ray?
No, this isn't research. This is what's going on
Oh.
since you've read the
Oh, the insight. Okay.
insight, and I'm thinking that people, like most of the people here, most of the people who we do coaching sessions for, what's the common denominator? Okay, we're all about the same age. Okay, and they feel like, okay, I've had my spiritual awakening, and the question is, what am I supposed to do with it? What do I do now?
Well, what do you do now, Ray?
I think a lot of people say, well, I'm spiritually aware and awake now, and I want to go out and teach other people how to do it. What if that's not the issue? What if it's not the goal of becoming spiritually awake? What if it's the goal, not the goal of becoming spiritually awake, is to go out and try to convince everybody else? Is that like becoming a vegan and then trying to sell veganism to all your friends?
Well, okay, I see where he's going with that.
that
That's the part where you realize that something's been missing. I mean, all of a sudden you wake up and you recognize it, right? Okay, then that's where the disappointment hits, where you realize now you don't fit in, to in a lot of situations, or a lot of people, it just is no longer a fit. And the first thing you feel is really lonely. You feel sad.
Right.
You feel like there's a loss, and there is, okay? This awakening isn't such an easy thing. That's how you know it's an awakening. It's so obvious. It's so evident. It's so consistent. And your interest in the things that you used to be interested in, it just dissipates. You're on a different trajectory. You're moving into, you find yourself sitting at home reading these books. You've become a voracious reader. You're researching, you're searching, you've got more questions than answers. You can't stop. And you listen to audio books constantly. You can't turn them off. All right. You've got to have the information. Where is the hole in me? What's going to make sense? What's going to connect with me? How am I going to move through this? Am I going to be okay? What's going on here? Am I the only one that feels like this? And I could go on and on and on, right? It's all those feelings. And then you feel this anxiousness that feels like, oh my God, I have to solve this. This is way too much. I've got to get an answer to this soon, because it's an urgency that hits you all at one time. Again, give me book number 2.
Book number 2.
Book number 2. I mean, once you read Guided, it fires you up. This little book right here, My Guided Journey, book number 2, Taking the Journey in part 2. This is why this was created. Isn't that beautiful? Look
This
at
is
that.
a masterpiece, by the way.
It really is. This is an amazing, amazing piece of work. But this will do it. This will get you the answers. This will answer the questions that only you, that would only quench your thirst. Because Joy, your answers would not be Kathy's, or Veronica's answers would not be Kathy's or Joy's or mine. Or everybody. We have a uniqueness where once that spark is lit up, once we have that aha moment, once we connect with it, it's like, okay, this is really going to get me where I need to go. I can feel it. But what's really happening is you're making this deeper connection to your guidance. You're finally able to trust yourself. See, the only one that's been in your way has been yourself, because everyone around you defies everything that you're stepping into, that you've become awakened about. They don't get it. And as long as they don't get it, you're alone in this thing. That's why this journal, you guys, journaling is a lifeline for you. It takes you it puts you on your yellow brick road. It takes you on your journey in the safest possible way. And every time you sit with your journal and you write in it, your guides are right there. Like I said before, infiltrating your writing. You're asking a question, or you're wondering about something, or you realize something, and a sentence will show up where you'll go, I don't remember writing that. And that's guidance coming through. It's bleeding through what you're writing. You've given them the opportunity to engage with you when you least expected it. Okay, the only way you can find it and identify it is when you go back and review it. And then you go, okay, wait a second. Well, there it is. There it is. I can witness this because it's what I wrote. It's what happened at the time. I didn't lose it. I didn't forget it. I didn't write it down later where I just kind of caught glimpses of it. This really happened. And this is exactly how it happened. So when you go back, this will keep you from doubting yourself, from thinking you're losing your mind, to make you feel like you're the only one in this, okay? Because you are not. The guides have said this in certain coaching sessions we've had most recently with people. They said that more people, what do they call it? They said it's a silent majority. There's a silent majority who's waking up.
Right.
Did you hear that? I didn't call it a minority. It used to be a minority. Now it's the silent majority.
That's awesome.
Isn't that something?
It is awesome.
Yeah, so that's what's happening, you guys. And they're just still kind of, reserved, and they're still, concerned about coming out, because that's a very intimate place in each one of us. And when we come out and somebody just whacks you with this single, what did they call it? They called it a single, I got to find it because it's perfect. It's this is when a conditional single world existence. That's what they hit you with. And they are so sure of themselves. Like they are, like, what's wrong with you? It really makes you feel cold inside, So it's your journaling, and it's that building that connection with your guides and with you, your soul, your higher self, who came into this world before they were manipulated and disconnected, is what I want to call it, separated from what's really going on, all right? That's what you're bringing back. You're bringing that back. It's a relief. What do we have, Ray?
Well, I'm just full of making connections here. Okay, so far we've said I've had a spiritual awakening. Now what do I do with it? Okay, you want to feel like you want to go out into the world, you want to teach all these people, and you know,
You feel that excitement.
you want to walk the world like Cain and teach people. Now wait, what if, okay, the spiritual awakening is now you're in the presence of all this unconditional love. It said you come from an expansive place of love.
Right.
All right, so what do you do with it? It's not how much you can do in the world with what you've learned, rather than how much of this love that you can stuff into yourself and hope that maybe some of it rubs off on the people that you are around.
Okay, here's what I'm going to translate that. You become the love that you've now connected with, okay? You're not separate from it anymore. You've made the connection. And in feeling that love, that connection, it is, like Ray said, it's an urge. Now you really want to share that with everybody, because it's just so, you woke up. You know something that most people are either not talking about, the silent majority, right? Or maybe they don't understand it. They're still like maybe pushing it away a little bit because they're not sure it's going to disrupt my life. It definitely will. It will totally disrupt their life, okay? And they're concerned about that. They're very concerned. So some people will put it on the shelf and go, I'll get around to that, you know? I can't afford to be spiritual right now. I got to make money.
You don't have time to be spiritual.
Right. I mean, that's how they look at it. But they're still, every day they wake up, every day they live another day. They feel that hole in here, this hole in their soul. They're suffering. So resisting it is not the answer. Resisting it is where the struggle kicks in. That's where you go into the penalty box, okay? You know, it doesn't work. It's just postponing something. And everyone knows what it's like to postpone something, don't we? It doesn't, it's like you wake up every day going, oh my God, is today the day? You know it's coming, you know? So that does not fix the problem. You could have just went there, dealt with it, and been way ahead of the game instead of just hanging back and going, oh, I'm afraid, you know? And it's all based in fear. It's fear has such a grip on people. It's a liar. It's a thief. It steals your life. It's just the biggest illusion that there is. So if we can just belly up to the fear and go, you know, let's do this. I'm not afraid of you. Whatever this is that has a hold of me, it's got my attention. That's what it would be. It's got my attention. You got my attention. So what is it I have to rearrange in my life, in my illusion, you know, this life I've created that I'm afraid to let go of, you know? And then take your journal and write it in part 3. What is it I need to release? Just write it in there. You may not be ready to do it yet, okay, but write it in there, because when you connect with it and you get upset enough with yourself inside, when you know and it's aggravating you and it's gnawing at you and it won't leave you alone, write it down. That's guidance telling you, write it down, okay? And then
study it.
No, don't study it. No way. Put it in here and shut it and put it over there and look at it later. But your job has been done. You did the only thing you needed to do. You documented it. Okay. Later on, when you're ready, you're not ready yet. It took everything you had to write it down. Good job. Now that it's written down, you can get back to it. You'll never lose it. It's in safekeeping right here. But that's why this journal is so important. You read guided, it wakes you up. You guys, you get it. It changes you. You connect with it. And this is where you take your journey and you make it happen, all right? Because you're ready. If you weren't ready, this never would have shown up in your life and you never would have resonated with it. It's that simple. It's a setup, you guys. The guides set us all up. They set me up to write this book. They set you up to read this book. Don't you love this? I know.
Thank goodness.
Do we want to hear a guy's perspective on this?
Well, do we have any feedback here?
I would like to know what I need to get rid of.
Now, what do you mean? More. I want more.
What I need to release to move forward.
But do you have a feeling about it, like what that could be?
It's fear.
Okay, but
It's
what
fear.
is it?
Fear of trusting what I get from my guides and following through. The procrastination is terrible. I mean, they've told me, says, what do I need to do? Make a plan. Stop, messing around here. And I'm like so excited I get this message. Okay, they got me. and then I continue with the same patterns. I want to beat myself up, but it's really hard to punch yourself in the face,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. And Joy, I understand that. Just a few little tidbits. You've heard us talk about Ray a few times where the guides are a little rough on Ray because he can be stubborn. And when he's stubborn, they do things to him, like they threw him out of bed one day. They literally
threw the glass of water in my face.
In his face, right. So he gets some of this harsh stuff. I don't get that kind of stuff, all right? But he gets that kind of stuff. So where am I going with this, Joy? What do you think? Where do you think I'm going with this? I can't hear her. Okay, can you hear her?
She's on mute.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she's on mute. How
did that happen? Hold on, Joy.
There we go.
maybe the guides did it.
I know. They wanted to shut you up. No, they didn't want to.
I was going to say, you're going to wind up in the floor. You out of the bed. Take you out of bed.
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe.
So what is your feeling about this? What do you connect with when I shared that?
About Ray?
Yeah.
I think they are being pretty candid with me and accurate too. And I'm wondering what it is about me that is resistant to following a plan, and I even got a planner, to make sure that I do things because when I am persistent, then I have results. So why am I lazy? I think they called me lazy once too.
They did. I remember that. I do remember that. Let's see what they have to tell you about this, okay? Because do you really want to move through this?
I do. Yes, I've gotten to the point where, I don't really care about what people say.
That's the big one.
I don't realize, and being in the Bible Belt, I should probably keep my mouth shut a little bit. But I'll just come out with something and I get these peculiar looks, and then internally I just laugh. I'm like, they just don't get it.
So how long have you been moving in that direction, what you just described?
It's got to be 8 years.
Okay. So you have been moving through this, and you have been getting results. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're at the point where you're going, okay, let's get this done, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what they have to tell you.
Joy, you have done a good job of describing what you are unhappy about. Now, we want you to take any situation that you feel unhappy about and think about how it makes you feel other than just unhappy. Pinpoint the feeling you are getting that makes you unhappy. Now, what would be the opposite of that feeling? We can tell you it's just as easy to feel the opposite feeling instead of dwelling on the unhappy feeling. Now, ask yourself, what do I need to do to feel that way? What can I do right now that will start me off in that direction? And if I keep going that direction, how will it make me feel in a week, or a month, or a year, or 5 years down the road? Now, once you can feel it, you can heal it.
You know, Joy, what I'm getting about you is you're in a pretty good position. Let's move this out of the way. You're in a pretty good position in your life. You're not under stress financially. You're not, right? You're not struggling.
No, because I have insurance money. I do have to draw from it every month.
Okay. But you're not under stress in that way in this world. All right. This is one lifetime, this is a lifetime where you were blessed with having that burden lifted from you, so you could actually experience what they just talked about. What you know in here is missing. What you're feeling is the urge to seek out, but you're not sure exactly what it is and where it's going to take you. The uncertainty is what's preventing you from stepping into this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I seem to get the feelings that, I should do this program. This is the one, that's going to help me, push me over the edge. And then it's not really the one.
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to stop putting goals on every endeavor that you encounter. I want you to take the expectations off of everything. Stop doing that.
Okay.
I want you to more like a child. I want you to step into these things with excitement and wonder. And when you were a child, you had no expectations. Everything that came to you was a bonus. It was fun. Okay. That's what you did, and that's what motivated you. It was like your yellow brick road, one step in front of the other, and you just found yourself doing the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. There was no goal. There was no expectation. You were too young to have all those things. That didn't fit into your life. Go back to that. That's what you need to do. Quit weighing yourself down with all of these earthly illusions, okay? Because that's what it is. It breaks the flow. It disconnects you. It doesn't connect you. You need to go back to the mindset that connects you. That is an interesting thing for you. That's interesting. Like what we do here on Tuesdays. That's interesting. Show up. Don't worry about having a result. Oh, don't do that to yourself. Let it go. Who put that in your head? By the way, it happened to everybody, right? Everybody.
Yeah.
This is all. Okay, so who put this in our heads? We have to let this stuff go, you guys, and get our lives under control where we can afford to live like this. And when you can afford to live like this, it will all show up. Get out of the way. All right, that's what I'm telling you. So this is your life after a spiritual awakening. All right, this is really what it is. Since everybody, your relationships went to pot, and the pretty much everything in this world, it looks dim and dull compared to the way it used to look. It's just lost its luster. Then just go right into this child part of you and let it explore everything that it wants to explore. You can afford it in this lifetime. You are one of the lucky ones. All of you. Me, right. We are all of the lucky ones. This is why we were given this. Don't squander this opportunity. Because in the big picture here, the reason we came into this life and bothered living all this time and going through all this aggravation, disappointment, hurt, pain, and everything, is to get that all behind us so we could fully enter into this, knowing that we were leaving nothing on the table, that we were not neglecting anything, we are not guilty for anything, okay, no guilt, and it's about you now moving into this totally and enjoying the ride. That in itself will give you all the answers you ever dreamed of having. You just bump into them. It's that easy. And oh, by the way, your connection to your guides is a byproduct of all that. You don't have to look for them. You just have to be who you are and be true to that. All right?
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
I made a point of connections here.
Wait a minute. Veronica has something to say.
Veronica.
I love it, Veronica.
Oh, wait.
Hold on.
I got it. I'm just appreciating that so much. It's just like the truth, and
Exactly.
yes. Thank you for articulating that so beautifully. I love it.
And Veronica, it's not written down anywhere. This is guidance coming through. You see, when you let yourself, I have chills all over me right now because I love you guys. I want everyone just to feel what this feels like. It's how I live my life. I don't know how else to live this, all right? Mm-hmm. And I guess I have, in my own life, I have been hated for it. For people would say, and they still say to me, who do you think you are, Linda? Really? Who, they're suffering so badly. Who do you think you are? I don't really know completely. I'm still working on it. I don't know what it is. I'm just having fun learning about it. Okay, you guys, it feels in Guided, I talk about how it feels like you're cheating. It feels like you're cheating because you're not doing it the way everyone else is doing it. Here's another one. There's a guy I know. He went to Yale and to Wharton, and he really highly educated, same age as I am, right? Yeah. And he can't even talk to me now. He won't have anything to do with me. He goes, he's trying to write a book. He's squeezing a novel out of himself for the last 5 years now. He still hasn't. He's not good enough, you see. He's never going to write okay. And then when I do all the parts for the project and he sees what I do, like especially with video, he's like crushed because he used to get paid $10,000 a video for the stuff I put out. All right. And he can't get paid like it. So someone like me, some lowly person like me,
who didn't go to Yale,
who didn't go to college. Okay, who do I think I am? Who am I? Okay, and my only answer to him, and anyone like him, and many of them, is I have this feeling in me. I have this excitement in me, the child, right? That's the child. It's got to have it. It's got to learn it. It's got to know it. It's got to play in it. It's got to try it. It's got to see what it'll do. That's what drives me, okay? And I just let it drive me, and that's guidance taking me where I'm supposed to be at just the right time every single time, okay? And people will have a problem with that. I'll tell you that. My daughter stepped back in and gave me a few whacks about 6 weeks ago. She finally found Guided, okay, discovered Guided. And her position is, I went to college and you didn't. Who do you think you are? I go, I don't know. I'm still working on that myself, actually, I'm still learning about that. So what you do is this is the epitome of being who you are. It will offend some people, okay? There are consequences, okay? So you get over give me that thing back, Ray. This is going to save you. This is your lifeline. This has saved me from the time I was 7 years old, writing in my journal. So I could make sense of what was going on because I didn't have the support of the people in this world. They were all out to get me, all right? This will keep you in one piece. This will let you bloom and blossom. This will let you go there and live the life you intended. That's what this keeps telling you, guys. The life you intended before you got here, all right? And that's it. You stay true to that. Watch this video again when your knees start to buckle and you start to let this world get to you, all right? And remember yourself. Remember you.
That's it.
Okay, Joy, that's my prescription for you.
Linda's prescription.
That's it, right
What would
there.
Linda do?
Yeah, that's what it is. And just just be the everything that you can be. Just enjoy the ride. It's going to feel weird in the beginning, but not so weird because you remember yourself. You're going to remember yourself. You are. And then you're going to go back to part 2, and you're going to listen to those videos again or listen to the MP3s. By the way, you get those MP3s. It's in the. I sent you a little email on this today where you
Saw that. Yeah.
Okay, get those because that's included with your book.
Yeah,
And
right up front in the book, there's a link
for the resources.
for where it says resources page. There's a link in the book, and you go there and you download your 19 MP3s.
And 19, and one of them, the 19th one, what I did is I put them all together, all 18 of them in one. It's about an hour long. Just the opening parts, the parts where I wrote the script, that's the writing part of it, that I put in there so you guys could move through it rather quickly before you go back to it in each one of those and listen to it along with the interview, okay? So you can quickly see how it ties together. You can connect with it. That's how you're going to connect with it. And then go back to the individual ones. But listen to it because I've edited them. I've edited a lot of the video stuff out that wasn't necessary. So it gets right to the point and moves you guys through it, all right? But that 19th one, it's called Your Story. And it's like telling your story when you first came here and reminding you who you are. Okay, and you get that back, you guys, because that's still yours. That's still waiting for you. It's waiting for you. That's where it's all at. That's where you're going to find yourself and your place in all this.
So I've come to a conclusion after all these brilliant revelations. All right, back up. You've had this spiritual awakening, and you're enveloped in love. And the question was, the last question I had is, now what do I do with it? Okay, because you're ready. You're like a horse chomping at the gate, ready to run down the track. Well, for a guy, this would be the same thing. Somebody bought you a whole brand new toolbox full of brand new tools. And now you have all these tools, and what do you think? Well, I'm going to go out and fix everything I can think of, and I'm going to fix
Same analogy.
I'm going to fix everybody. I'm going to fix every situation.
Every refrigerator, washer, dryer,
That's like the guy's equivalent of a spiritual awakening, okay? So now you have this. You had your spiritual awakening, and you're wondering now, what do I do with it? And the questions, that's where the questions keep popping back in that have bugged you all your life. Who am I? Why am I here? And what's my purpose? Okay? You've got all this knowledge now. You've got all these tools now. Now what am I going to do with them?
Great analogy.
That's what I'm going to do with them. Now, this is what dawned on me. What if, now just ponder this. I'm not looking for an answer. Just ponder this tonight when you go to sleep. What if just the presence and the experience of all this love is your purpose? The room goes silent. What if that's it?
Translation. What does that
What
look
if you're
like?
not supposed to do anything else with it? What if you are just supposed to experience it, and that is your purpose?
Okay, so what Ray's saying here is Imagine that, okay? Now, it doesn't mean that's true for you guys, or it might be true for one, or who knows, all right? But imagine that. That's the epitome of getting out of your way. That's what I think Ray is leading toward here. We do not know. It's, you know, what we know fills our head. What we don't know fills the infinite universe. That's really what that is. As long as we stay out of the way of this amazing thing that we're all connected to, that we're all a part of, that we came here and we kind of feel separate. I mean, this is my skin. This isn't your skin. This is my skin. It makes you kind of feel, it gets cold, it gets warm. It feels like that's the truth, and it's not the truth. All right. It's an illusion. It's an experience in the physical realm while we're here. But to miss why we're here, okay? To let any of this stuff consume us, okay, or distract us so much that we miss the whole thing. And then we, boom, pop over to the other side. That's what it feels like, by the way. When we're out of it, when we leave this world, it's like, well, we're over to the other side. And instantly, we see the whole thing for what it is. You know, instantly we see it. When we feel and see and experience that moment, personally, I'm going to speak for myself. I cannot speak for you guys. But this is why I'm like, I do this work. I can't help myself. I feel something that maybe even I can't articulate well, but I do it because I'm driven to do this. You know, kind of, it's a feeling. And what is that? What the heck is that? What is that connection I had with my gut from the time I can remember my first thoughts? Why is that? Okay, I don't really know all these answers all the time. I just know I follow this right here. In spite of all the arrows they shoot in my back, you know, as I'm moving through it, and they try to trip me up along the way and make a fool of me, and they're absolutely sure that here's a big one for me in my life. It's a trip. It's my own karmic lessons, I guess, is people who say to me, you don't deserve it. You just don't. You have no value and you don't deserve it. Who do you think you are? Wow. I can't tell you how many times I've heard this. And it's been my greatest advantage because, you know what? Those people underestimated me, and that was my doorway in. All right. And I was like, oh, yeah, they're not seeing me coming. I'm coming, though. You know, I'm going to have fun at this. Is that a perfect little kid reaction or what? You know, I'm just saying, you guys, step into it. Don't be afraid of it. Just go there and enjoy the hell out of yourself. But you will have people like this. They will not be happy with you. Okay? All right? You got to be okay with that. Are you guys okay with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's where it's at. Because your guides are looking at this and they're just going, this is one great big illusion. Don't let anyone stop you. You didn't come here to live their life. You came here to live your life. I mean, I could go on and on and on about what the guides have told me. And it's just made it such a no-brainer for me that, you know, there you are. So this might be kind of like a Muhammad Ali session we're having here, where I'm powering you guys up, and, you know, I mean it. I just can't even help myself. I come to these, we sit with you guys, and it just all just blows out of me. Where does it come from? You know, it's guidance. The guides are coming through, and they're just like, they want you guys to get this, but because you're ready to get this. Otherwise, it wouldn't come through like this. They'd be more toned down. They would take it a little bit easier because they would know that, you know, that people need time to you know, they don't want to scare you. That's probably the biggest thing I hear them say. We just don't want to scare them. We could hit them with the energy, Linda, but we don't want to scare them. We could give them all that knowledge, but we don't want to scare them. That's what they're most concerned about, is that they're going to scare you guys, because you are so powerful. You have no idea. I'm just giving you a little taste of it here, but that's what this is. And it's so much fun, you guys. It is so much fun. All right. And is it easy for us every day? No. There's days when Ray and I go through, pulling our hair out. What do we do? How does we make this, pull this together with that? And how do we, there's a lot to think about when you have a project like this. And some of it takes longer. See, that's another part of it. Some of it takes longer, and your human, earthly self is going, from a business standpoint, this just isn't working, But you know what? It is working. If we can just be patient with the process. The guides always tell us, stay on the path. I mean, they come through. We have a session with them. They'll come through and they'll just say, stay on the path, and boom, they're gone. Just stay on the path. All right. And we're like, okay, all right, okay. So I'm giving you guys some juicy stuff here because I want you to get it. I want you to feel it. I want you to taste it, smell it. I want it to be on your skin. I want you to know it, because it's yours. And it's always been yours, but you guys just didn't know it. You didn't have, enough of something to put it together. It's not motivation. I don't teach that. It's none of that. It's a connection you make. It's an awakening. It's time. When it happens for you, it's just time. And then you're sitting back going, I feel like the luckiest person on the planet. I have so much gratitude. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it feels.
Yes.
You guys are great.
But you know what? How do you get there? You by the way, isn't this book funny? There's these little footprints on there. Do you want to show them that up closer?
Ooh.
Don't tell them the secret. No, don't tell them the secret. There's a secret, but we haven't shared it with you yet. See the little footprints? That's your journey.
Ah.
And they walk right around.
And they walk right around the book. Walking, they're always with you. You're never alone. You're always being guided on your journey. Okay?
Mm.
As you go up and down the hills and finally you ascend, you go there, you get that. And you guys, once you have this, nobody could ever snuff out your flame again. Nobody could ever, even if they insult you. What you do, if they insulted you, you write it into part 3. You document it. You're not telling on anybody. You're documenting something that happened, and then you're talking about how you dealt with it. Okay? And then you move on to the next page and the next day and the week and the month, okay, and the year. You document it. And all it does is it gives you, they're like your stabilizers. As you're moving through this spiritual awakening, this spiritual journey that you're on, they're your stabilizers. And they keep you, you're in the world and you're still connected. They keep you from panicking. They keep you from going back into the fear, all right? They keep you strong and encourage you to move into that part of your life that you bothered living your whole life to this point to finally experience it. Don't miss this. Joy, don't miss this. Yeah, her audio's off. Joy's audio is off. What's happening with the audio on this?
I don't know.
Okay. Hold on, Joy.
There we go.
Okay, go ahead, Joy.
And Veronica.
You're right, and I do mute myself sometimes because we've got 7 people here, and it can get loud. So.
Right. Well, it slows you down. That distractions, they slow you down. But if you're determined enough, and if you want this bad enough,
yes,
you will find a way to get away from those distractions, so you can work through this. You can have this part of you. Okay, you can experience this part of you. You start by writing. Start by writing. Just start right there. Okay, because you're going to see things show up. Do it every day. Do it for 15 minutes a day, you guys, in your journal, right in there. And even if you don't take the journey in part 2, start in part 3. Just start journaling what's going on with you. All right.
Part 3
Part 3
is the pages that you've become familiar with, page
Yeah.
after page after page after page after page.
Great.
It's a little bit of forward matter up front, a little
Right.
bit.
Just enough for people who have, maybe they bump into part 3 before they hit part 1. This is part 1, guided. And then part 2 is my guided journey. And then part 3 is my journal writing. And that's where, from then on, you are now, you're a graduate at that point. You're on your way. You have this connection. You've got this discipline built. 15 minutes a day you spend. What did your guidance tell you today? What's your gut telling you? Okay, and you start and you document that. You spend 15 minutes a day talking with whatever has to come out as your guides. You'll see what as they express, they're connected to you. They're connected to you as the two of you start to, all of them and you start to merge on these pages. That's what is going to happen. That's what happened when I wrote Guided. That's what happened when I wrote My Guided Journey. They merged with me, and out came these books. Okay? So that's what happens. What's your journey? What is your mission? Are you going to be put on? What is that going to be? Stay out of the way. It's not none of your business. Stay out of it. Just let it show up. Okay? And that's what your awakening is all about, you guys. You've already awakened. Some of you a little bit more than others, but it feels like that urgency. It feels like that nudging, moving you through it. And once you step into it and you just commit yourself to it, all right? You just 15 minutes a day, I'm going to do that. Another 15 minutes a day, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do this. And I'm just going to do the things that are quiet, that are alone time, that are designed for me to bump into myself. Remember the child. The child doesn't know itself. It bumps into itself. Oh, I like that. I don't like that. I like that. I'll do that. I won't do that. That's the child. It's the truth. It's honest. It's instant. It knows.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But you have to, because you're an adult, you've been overdone in this world, okay? You got to write it down. This is your lifeline so you don't lose it, so you don't miss it anymore, all right? Yeah. Kathy, we didn't talk to your guides. We didn't have any session with you. Do you have any question before we wrap this up?
I don't think so. My guides talk to me pretty frequently now.
You're doing well. You're doing well. I can see. How's your husband doing, Kathy?
He's doing really good, but he picked up a little virus this week, so
Yeah, he's moving through it. You know, that's a whole other journey. You know, that's a whole other. You know, everything that happens in our life, it's not happening to us, it's happening for us. And he's bumped into all these things to get him to expand. And he has.
he has tremendously.
I know. See what it takes sometimes to get us through that stuff, you know? So he's doing good. And he's got you. That's a big one. See, that's really big. Yeah. So what we're going to do.
Do we have a final message, or do you want to read that first?
Yeah, well, what we do is we talk about next week so they don't leave.
Oh, okay.
Remember, if we tell them.
Oh, leave the message to the end. It's,
Yeah.
end on a high note.
The cliffhanger.
The cliffhanger. Okay.
You guys are learning now, right? This is how you do it. We learned this the hard way, okay? I'm playing with you guys. We have fun with you guys. We love everything we do. Okay, so let me see where I'm at. Where the heck am I?
What's my purpose
Could you give me your sheet, Ray? Because I can't find my stuff.
for next week?
Wow, I wound up with 2 of these. That's what I need. Thank you, Ray.
And I didn't scribble all over it so you can see it.
Okay, Tuesday next week, September the 11th, watch or interact with us right here on Zoom. In Linda's Weekly Guided Insights is where you will receive the link to join us to talk to your guides, to us and the group, 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern. To be published next Tuesday morning in Linda's Weekly Guided Insights. The guides will be talking about the only way out is through it. It has to do with any situation or relationship you find yourself in. Since most things in your life revolve around a relationship of some kind, this phrase lends itself to all of them. You find yourself in a relationship situation that you are dissatisfied with and want out. It could be your job, friends, family, lifestyle, finances, and anything else you interact with. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week.
Everything's a relationship.
Everything is the relationship. Yep, everything. So there's my page. I knew it was here. Okay, so what we're going to do is close this, your life after a spiritual awakening. We always close it with the guide's final message, the closing message for the group. And here they go.
Now that you are the silent spiritual majority, you must not expend energy trying to reach people who are not reachable. There is two sides of every coin, two groups, yin and yang, black and white, the spiritual group and the non-spiritual group. Do not try to convince the others. It's like vegans and carnivores. You, no matter how much good research and common sense you can come up with, will never change the other one's mind about what they want to eat. You must keep your guidance to yourself and find your tribe and dance together.
I love that. You know, and look back at your life as a child, when you were a little kid, that's what you did. You didn't think about what somebody was going to think about you. You didn't even care what they thought about you, all right? That didn't come until later. And the peer pressure kicked in.
Yeah.
You were free. You were about as free as you can get. You need to go back and remember who that was, that little girl, that little boy. Go back and find out and remember, go back to that place. And just don't tell anybody what you're doing. They're not going to support you in it, okay? They don't know what it is. They don't understand this. The only thing they're going to understand is watching you by example. You're the one that walked through the flames first, and you made it. You came out the other side, all right? And if you didn't die, you know, fear. If you didn't, you know, all these things happen to you, you know. If that didn't happen to you, maybe I'm going to be okay. Maybe I could do that too, because I don't like where I'm at. There's a lot of people, the silent majority, who need to do one on the silent majority.
We do.
Yep, we do. Because see, none of you know that, because we're reserved. Keep your guidance to yourself, right? Because we don't need to be attacked. But as we move through this and we continue to stay true to ourselves, and we and we write it down, okay, and we get stronger. That's what this is. This is building up your strength so that no matter what comes along, it doesn't matter what it is. Here's what's going to happen. As I did a show back in 1990, okay, using a big show in LA with the talking board, and it was on display, and it was a big, image on the wall, and they could see us using it, and it was spelling it everything out, and it was really exciting. And this one guy came up to me and he goes, I don't believe a word out of your mouth. He was really nasty to me, and as the information was coming through, I was speaking it out like Ray does. I was doing that. And I'd have the other person on the side in line. They were coming up and they were experiencing this one by one, all right? And it was just like I was throwing a lot of energy because that person was a drag. They weren't used to using the talking board. So I threw a lot of energy. I just, and it was enough to power us both up. There was nothing stopping it, all right? And the guidance, the information would come through. And this guy, he came up to me and he goes, he goes, you're a liar. He was really nasty. This was really bad. And I don't believe a word out of your mouth. And I said, he goes, I don't trust you like that. And I said, well, and I don't even know where this came from. But this is what happens. This is the child. This is when you're out of your way and guidance can just come through. Out of my mouth comes, well, I don't know why you don't trust me. You don't even know me. This guy was like without words. There was no rebuttal. He didn't have a thing to say because it was the truth. So what does the little child do? Little child gets in there and it just tells the truth. It doesn't know how to lie. It doesn't know how to make stuff up. It just tells the truth, okay? That's why it gets in trouble all the time. But as an adult, you just trust that. Ray will tell you, we're in kind of a legal battle right now with somebody, and the way we handled it, Ray was writing the letter to them, and I said, and he'd run it by me, and I'd say, all we do is you just tell the truth, Ray. Just say the truth. And Ray'd go, well, help me with that. and I go, okay, here it is. And I just say, start writing this, and then you could, put it wherever it needs to go, whatever. And he did, and this is so ironclad. See, when you tell the truth, there's no escape hatch. There's no way out. You pin them down, and the only reaction that they could have, but there's only two. One is where they just say, well, this is the truth. How can I argue with it? Or they really get mad because you pinned them down, right?
Because they got caught.
Right. Okay, so how many times does a little kid do that to somebody? It happens all the time. So if you just stay clear and clean about who you are and why you're here and all this kind of stuff, and do not worry about what somebody's going to think about you. And when something catches you off guard like that, bam, right in the moment, it's going to come through beautifully, beautifully. And it didn't slap him, but it did let him know that how do you know you can't trust me? You don't even know me. You came in with your judgment and laid that down. And that's all. And he knew that. All right. So that's where you go, you guys. You're so stellar strong with the truth. You're so steady and true with the truth. You're in the moment at every moment. That's the child.
Awesome.
Okay. You guys are great, man. You guys all know this. You know it. And you just need a reminder and you just need a little energy boost,
Yeah.
And you got this. You got this thing. Yeah. And Barbara, even though we can't see you, we really appreciate you coming tonight. And
There she is.
right. And
You guys are great. Thank you.